Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about people who come into the United States to apply for asylum based on domestic violence. Now, there's a lot of countries where domestic violence is treated just as a home issue. The police don't help. The judges don't give convictions. And in fact, if it's reported, it could actually do more harm than not. So, in the evolution of asylum law, there was years and years of litigation that went forward in which to determine that essentially victims of domestic violence by abusive spouses would be or would not be considered a social group, thereby allowing them an easier way to come in to the U.S. in which to get asylum based upon that issue. So it turns out after many years, in fact, it was determined that it was a particular social group, these people who were victims, and that they could apply for asylum based upon being in that particular social group. So about 3 months ago, 2 months ago, give or take, Attorney General Jeff Sessions of the U.S. decertified that decision, and when interviewed as to why he would do that, he all but said that people who come into the U.S. claiming domestic violence are lying. Okay, no data, no statistics, no real insight as to where he might have gotten those statements, other than the fact that he wants to decrease eligible people for asylum. So, as it stands right now, the decision in which to apply for asylum based upon being in a particular social group based upon domestic violence is not happening at the present time. But couple things. Number one, that does not mean that if you've been a victim of domestic violence and you have escaped your country in order to avoid it, that you still can't apply for asylum and that you still can't win. It's just a matter of not having the benefit of a case that puts you in a particular social group. It doesn't mean we can't go to court and argue different other social groups. It doesn't matter we can't go and argue the persecution and all of that. So it doesn't put a stop to fighting this case. We used to fight them years and years before it ever became a law, through a case. But in addition to that, the ACLU has brought a suit against Sessions, essentially claiming he didn't have the right to decertify the case for the reasons that he did, which, the bottom line is he just said people are lying. So we'll see how that lawsuit goes. And if that lawsuit prevails, then, of course, his decertification will be overturned. And again, it'll be a formal case regarding the social group of domestic violence. So while, most of us understand that there's a lot of abuse and domestic violence internationally, and a lot of that comes from Central America, and that's why a lot of a lot of the people from Central America are trying to flee that country. Keep fighting, keep trying to apply. Just because there's a decertification doesn't mean the end of it. And just a matter of fighting through, an administration that wants to remove due process, wants to remove judicial oversight, and wants to punish judges, believe it or not, who don't deport people fast enough. But there's thousands of immigration lawyers on your side fighting to maintain the rule of law and to maintain due process against an administration that is doing everything to avoid doing that. So either way, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming videos.